Good morning, my dear students. Welcoming back to another class. Let us just see the class, the part 2 of factors affecting drug action. I hope you have gone through with the first slide. With my first slide, I feel my sound was a bit low. I hope I make changes in the second slide. Let's go into a class, okay? Okay, now coming to the next factor that affects the drug action, time of administration. When you ask me time of administration and environmental factors, both 2 points are coming. Time of administration with environmental factors. Now environmental factors also affects drug responses, that is exposure to the insecticides, carcinogens, tobacco smoke and consumption of char-boiled meat. All these will induce drug metabolism, increases drug metabolism. Okay, so the action will be lost of the drug will be lost. Second one, drug ingestion and meal. Now if you have some drugs along with meal, absorption takes place fast. Some drugs if you take with along with the meal, absorption decreases. For example, food interferes with the absorption of ampicillin. If you have ampicillin along with the food, it decreases the absorption. But for griseofulvin, you require fatty food for increase absorption. So sometimes for some drugs food will decrease the absorption, for some it increases absorption. This is timing of absorption and environmental factors. Okay, third example, hypnotics are those which give sleep, decrease anxiety. Those drugs are usually taken at night because a quiet environment will increase their action. They help us to get sleep, and the drug action takes place. Now another example is statins. Statins are nothing but they are drugs given for hypercholesterolemia. Why it is being given at night? Because HMG CoA reductase, that enzyme is produced at night. These statins go inhibit this enzyme. So when it is given at night, the enzymes can be inhibited and prevent the formation of cholesterol synthesis. This is what is by this term time of administration and environmental factors. Environmental factors is for night time we give of hypnotics. Okay, coming to the next factor, psychological state. In psychological state, for example, you go to a doctor. The doctor before hearing your complaints prescribes few drugs. You take them home and have them, but since you don't like the attitude, you find out your symptoms are not reducing. This is because the psychological effect you had with the doctor. Since you had a bad attitude, if you feel the drugs are not working on you, so this is the psychological state. Now that is, drugs efficacy can be affected by the patient's expectation and the attitude. In some anxious patients we require, for example, in some anxious patient we will require a more general anesthetic to function. We require increased dose. Now there is a term you should study over here, that is nothing but placebo. Now what is placebo? In a situation where, for example, a situation where a patient will not require any drug for their symptoms, but the expectation of the patient is some drug, so that his or her symptoms will reduce. For that we prescribe any drug which will not have any pharmacological activity, but psychologically it will help the patient. Such a drug is known as placebo. That is a medicine which will have no inherent pharmacological activity, but it is intended to be effective only by the virtue of factor of suggestion and used as for symbolic effect. Only because the patient wills to have a drug, we prescribe a drug which has no pharmacological activity. Okay, now where all can we use these placebos? Placebos are used as control device in clinical trials of drugs as dummy medication, and also it is used to treat patient who in the opinion of the physician will not require any active drug. Okay. Now what are the most commonly given placebo drugs? They are lactose tablets and capsules, or distilled water for injections. Usually multivitamin tablets are often misused as placebo when no medication is needed. Okay, this is placebo, and those who positively reacts to placebos are called as placebo reactors. Okay, I just explain what is placebo, where all placebo is used, and what are the common drugs used for placebo, and why is it used. It is used for the psychological psychological impact of the patient, so that he feels better because he is being prescribed a drug. And those reactors who positively responds to placebos are nothing but placebo reactors. Now another term you should remember is nocebo. Nocebo is nothing but the opposite of placebo, which refers to a negative psychodynamic effect evoked by the pessimistic attitude of the patient. Whatever you give a normal drug, specific drug, or a placebo, nothing, everything gives a negative impact, and he will lose the faith in the medication, also with medication plus the physician. Nocebo effect can also impose the negative therapeutic effect of active medication also. That is, even if you give the correct drug, he will find it negative. So this is nothing but nocebo. Two terms you should remember: placebo and nocebo. Sometimes placebo is being asked as short note. Now coming to the next point, that is pathological condition. There are several changes in the body that can bring about decrease in the drug deposition, action, excretion. So what are the pathological conditions that can lead to such changes? Lead to either excess, a decrease, or toxic levels of these drugs. One, hepatic change in the hepatic function, the renal function, cardiovascular function. These three has important influence of drug clearance and drug action. Then so drugs should be carefully used in patients with the presence of these disease. So such disease patients should be given drugs accordingly only. No normal drugs can be given. Suppose, for example, if you have hepatic failure, and drug that undergoes hepatic metabolism should not be given. Excess dose will be available in the systemic circulation that might lead to the toxicity of the drug. Coming to the first pathological state, I start with the GIT or gastrointestinal disease. In GIT, what will happen? They can alter absorption of drug, of orally administered drug. Any problem in the stomach can lead to absorption problems. Okay, the changes can be complex, and absorption can either increase or decrease. Suppose if you have example anywhere in the stomach plus the intestine, anywhere in the intestine. For example, if you have a celiac disease, absorption of amoxicillin will be decreased, but of cefalexin and cotrimoxazole will be increased. So that is why any change in the GIT can have a complex change, either decrease or increase. Okay, now gastric stasis occurring during migraine attacks can retard the administration of ingested drug. In migraine, a condition which produces headache, there is gastric stasis, and the drugs are not absorbed. It will retard, decrease the absorption of the ingested drug. Another example is, as I shown in the slide, achlorhydria, that will decrease absorption of aspirin by causing ionization. Also, another example is NSAIDs can aggravate peptic ulcer disease. So GIT, the actions are complex. Either it might increase or decrease. Increase I told you, decrease also, examples I told you. Coming to the next organ, that is the liver. Now, any liver disease, what happens in the liver? Metabolism takes place in the liver. Some drugs gets excreted also in the liver. Majority, if you look, metabolism. So if the drugs does not undergo metabolism, what will happen? The bioavailability of the drug in the systemic circulation will be high, and it might cause systemic toxicity. So bioavailability of drugs having high first pass metabolism is increased due to the loss of hepatocellular function. Okay, this is what happens with the metabolism part. A having high first pass metabolism drug will go into toxic level. Second, what will happen if the albumin decrease? If the serum albumin in the liver decreases, protein binding of acidic drugs will be reduced, and their availability in the blood will be increased in the free form. Okay, this is another part. Then some drugs undergo elimination elimination through liver. Morphine, lidocaine, and propranolol, their dose should be reduced, because this will lead to toxicity. Or alternative drugs that do not depend upon hepatic metabolization or elimination should be used in such conditions. Another thing you should remember in liver is prodrugs get activated with the help of hepatic metabolization. Suppose if prodrugs has to be given, it should be avoided in a liver diseased patients. These are the things you should keep in mind while giving a drug for a liver disease patient. Okay, in this slide, I am explaining that metabolism of some drugs are decreased, their dose should be decreased or they should be used with an alternative. What are the measurement you should do if such drugs are to be used? Either reduce your dose or use alternative. That is example morphine, phenobarbital, lidocaine and propranolol. And next one I told you about prodrugs also. Prodrug also undergoes hepatic metabolization to form active drugs. So either you can avoid these drugs and give the alternative drug. Now coming to kidney disease. Kidney disease, what happens? Most of the drugs are excreted out through kidney. So if kidney has some problem, the clearance of the drugs won't be there, which will lead to toxicity. Okay, examples of drugs that undergo renal clearance are, renal elimination is aminoglycoside, digoxin, phenobarbital. Suppose these drugs are given in a kidney disease patient, what will happen? Their clearance will not take place and lead to toxicity. Okay, toxicity of these drugs. So dose rate of the drugs should be decreased while giving to a patient with renal or kidney failure. Plus, what else are the things you should do? Maintenance dose of such drugs should be reduced. This is because everything gets excreted out through kidney. Now, some drugs may worsen the existing clinical condition in renal failure, that is especially NSAIDs, which may cause fluid retention. And other nephrotoxic antibiotics should be avoided during this condition. Coming to the next condition, congestive heart failure. This is nothing but here the kinetics can be altered by decreasing drug absorption from GIT due to mucosal edema or splanchnic vasoconstriction. Second, altering the volume of distribution, which can increase for some drugs due to expansion of the extracellular fluid volume, or decrease for others as a result of decreased tissue perfusion. Third, by retarding drug elimination as a result of decreased perfusion and congestion of liver. And finally, decompensated heart is more sensitive to digitalis activity or digitalis action. So what are the examples in my slide? That drugs which should be decreased, which will cause decreased drug absorption from GIT due to mucosal edema. The example is procainamide and hydrochlorothiazide. Now, increased volume of distribution. For such drugs, loading doses of lidocaine should be reduced. And drugs which are decreased, eliminated due to decreased GFR. Such drugs examples include lidocaine, procaine, and theophylline. Now, other drugs includes drug-drug interactions. Drugs can modify the response of each other by pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic interaction between them. Now, this will be dealt with in another class where how two drugs will combine and form interactions. Okay. Now, just an outline, not an outline. Just know that others. The next point, others will include drug-drug interactions. Okay. Now coming to the next point, tolerance. Now this refers to the requirement of a higher dose of a drug to produce a given response. Suppose you have a drug daily with the same dose for 5 to 10 days, but the next week you have it, you don't see the same response. This is because the dose has become tolerant to the previously administered. Your body has been tolerant to the previously administered dose, and we require an increased dose for the action. Now, loss of this therapeutic efficacy after prolonged or intensive exposure of or use of a drug is generally called as refractoriness. It is generally called as refractoriness. Now, tolerance can be natural, acquired, and cross tolerance. What is natural? Now, natural is nothing but the species or individual is inherently less sensitive to specific drug. Some species or some individuals are very less sensitive to specific drug. Example, if you see in animal species, rabbits are tolerant to atropine, black races are tolerant to mydriatics. These are the examples. They are inherently tolerant. Now, acquired. After giving a drug, they attain acquired tolerance. Acquired tolerance is nothing but which is occurred by repeated administration of a drug in an individual who was initially responsive. So, previously responsive patient, after the few weeks of administration of the same drug regularly, becomes intolerant. Okay, that is acquired tolerance. Cross tolerance is the development of tolerance to pharmacologically related drugs. Examples, alcoholics are relatively tolerant to barbiturates, and general anesthetic, that is one group tolerant to the other group. Tolerance, that is tolerance to pharmacological related drug. Example, I told you, alcohol to barbiturates and general anesthetics, morphine and pethidine. Now, if you ask me what is the mechanism of action of tolerance, pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic reasons are there. In pharmacokinetic or drug deposition tolerance, effective concentration of a drug at the site of action is decreased due to the enhancement of elimination on chronic use. Example is shown by barbiturates and carbamazepine, which induces its own metabolism. This is the pharmacokinetic mechanism, how the action is lost due to effective concentration at the site of action, that is being decreased. Now coming to pharmacodynamic tolerance, what happens? Lesser drug action, cells of target organs becomes less responsive. Lesser action, less responsive target organs. Then the examples includes morphine, barbiturate, nitrates. Or it can lead to down regulation or desensitization of receptors. If you give the same drugs, they get desensitized. Oh, this same drug we require a higher one. That is pharmacodynamic tolerance. Now coming to another term you should remember, tachyphylaxis. That is rapid development of tolerance when a drug is repeated in quick succession. That is, in our example parayanagi, in a day first we give 100 milligram, then we give 100 milligram after 2 hours, 100 milligram after next 2 hours, and you see the response becoming decreased. This is rapid development of tolerance, that is tachyphylaxis. Tachy means fast, phylaxis means protection. Rapid development of tolerance when drugs are given in quick succession in a same row at the same day. Okay. Here also, if you ask me, the action is nothing but desensitization or down regulation of the receptors. So we end up the chapter over here. We were studying about factors modifying drug action. I dealt about the body size and body weight, how it affects the size and the weight. More the size, more the weight, more the dose of drug is required for the patient. Age also, age can be divided into newborn, children, adult and elderly. Depending upon the age, there is difference in pharmacokinetic as well as pharmacodynamic parameters. So the drug's dose should be adjusted accordingly. Then coming to sex, we know males are more built than females, so males will require more drug than females when compared to the sex. Species and races. In species and races we studied some are intolerant, some are tolerant, some requires more doses. With the examples I had dealt in my previous class. The fifth point we studied was genetics. In genetics we studied certain drugs are controlled by genetical composition. Now if you understand the genetical composition of certain patients, we can apply this knowledge into that patient, and that is known as pharmacogenomics. And the study of genetic factor controlling of drug was on drug response was known as pharmacogenetics. And these 2 points can be asked for your exams as 2 drugs. Examples for pharmacogenomics or genetics. 2 examples for pharmacogenetics. I had given you 3 examples, and many more examples are there in the textbook. Then we went into the route of administration, how one drug given in 3 different forms affects differently. My example was magnesium sulfate. If you have it orally, it was given as purgator. If you apply it on the body, or local application to reduce edema, and if you give IV, it was used for CNS depression and hypotension. Then today we dealt with environmental factors and time of administration. Why we specifically give few drugs at night? What is the use? That is, environmental factor helps to improve the action of the drug. Then we studied about psychological factor. In psychological factor, 2 new terms I gave you, placebo and nocebo, where you should understand what is placebo and what is nocebo. Then we went into the pathological state. That is, different disease states can also affect the drug absorption. In that we studied gastrointestinal disease, liver disease, kidney disease and congestive heart failure disease. Now all these can lead to different pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic parameters can be deranged. As a result, the dose should be adjusted accordingly. Then we went into the other factors, that is drug-drug interaction, plus a new term you should study. We studied was tolerance, how a drug becomes tolerant to a specific patient. And another word on tachyphylaxis, how a patient acquires tachyphylaxis. Reason for all these is nothing but down regulation of receptors and or desensitization. I hope you understood with my class and my sound was audible to all of you. I hope this was better than my previous slide. If everybody understood, please do comment in your box, and also please mark your attendance under the under this slides. Okay. Thank you once again. Please to tell me if you need any extra points on any part. Okay, so please message me or ask me personally, or you can comment in the box. Thank you.